Have you ever put on your headphones, lie down on your bed, and suddenly your brain starts creating an entire movie? You imagine an argument that never happened, a conversation you wish you had, someone finally realizing your worth, you becoming successful, you walking into a room and everyone noticing you. And the strange part? For a few minutes, it feels real. You feel confident, powerful, loved, important. But then you look at the clock. 30 minutes are gone, sometimes an hour, and you haven't actually done anything. If this happens to you often, you might not be addicted to daydreaming itself. You might be addicted to the feeling your imaginary life gives you. And that's where things get interesting. Because your brain can give you the emotional reward of success without you actually doing the work required to achieve it. Think about this. You have an important task to finish. Maybe studying, maybe working on your career, maybe starting that YouTube channel, maybe exercising. You tell yourself, I'll start in 5 minutes. Then you lie down, you put on some music, and your imagination takes over. Suddenly, you're picturing yourself 6 months from now. You're successful, confident, financially independent. People who doubted you are impressed. You imagine exactly what you'll say to them, and for a moment, you feel like you've already won. But there's a problem. Your brain experienced the reward before you earned it. So when reality comes back, the real work feels boring. The fantasy was exciting. The actual process? Slow, uncomfortable, uncertain. And your brain naturally wants to return to the easier option, the imaginary world. This is why some people can spend hours imagining their future, but struggle to spend 20 minutes building it. And there's another reason this happens. Sometimes imagining fake scenarios isn't really about fantasy. It's about control. Real life is unpredictable. You can't control what someone thinks about you. You can't control whether someone likes you. You can't control whether your career works out. You can't control whether people appreciate you. But inside your imagination, you control everything. You know exactly what you'll say. You know exactly how the other person will react. You know exactly how successful you'll become. There's no rejection, no awkwardness, no uncertainty. So your brain starts using imagination as a safe place. And slowly, you may start preferring the imaginary version of life to the real one. Maybe you've noticed something else. These fake scenarios often happen when you're emotionally overwhelmed. You're stressed, you imagine a better life. You're lonely, you imagine someone understanding you perfectly. You're insecure, you imagine yourself becoming incredibly confident. You're angry, you imagine finally telling someone exactly what you think. You're feeling behind in life, you imagine yourself becoming wildly successful. Notice the pattern. The fantasy isn't random. It gives you something reality is currently missing. Validation, control, connection, confidence, hope. And that's why simply telling yourself, stop daydreaming, usually doesn't work. Because you're not just fighting a habit, you're trying to replace an emotional reward. Here's something that might surprise you. Sometimes people don't imagine fake scenarios because they believe they're going to happen. They imagine them because they desperately want to experience the emotion attached to them. For example, you imagine becoming rich. Maybe what you actually want isn't money. Maybe you want freedom. You imagine becoming famous. Maybe what you really want is recognition. You imagine someone apologizing to you. Maybe what you really want is closure. You imagine being in a perfect relationship. Maybe what you really want is connection. This is important, because once you understand the emotion underneath the fantasy, you can start solving the real problem. So what can you do? First, stop judging yourself for it. Don't say, I'm so lazy, something is wrong with me, I waste my whole life. That creates shame, and shame often sends you right back into the fantasy. Instead, when you catch yourself imagining a scenario, simply notice it. Say, I'm escaping right now. That's it. No self-attack, no guilt, just awareness. Because you can't change a pattern you don't notice. Second, find your trigger. Pay attention to when your imaginary stories usually begin. Is it when you're lying in bed, when you're listening to certain songs, after scrolling social media, when you're bored, after an argument, when you're stressed, when you have an important task to do? You might discover that your brain has a predictable pattern. For example, stress imagination, boredom imagination, loneliness imagination, difficult task imagination. Once you know the trigger, you can interrupt the cycle much earlier. Third, turn the fantasy into one real action. This is probably the most important step. Imagine yourself becoming successful. Don't spend another 30 minutes imagining it. Do 10 minutes of the actual work. Imagine yourself becoming fit. Don't imagine the future version of your body. Go for a 10-minute walk. Imagine yourself becoming financially independent. Spend 15 minutes learning a useful skill. Imagine yourself being confident. Do one uncomfortable thing you've been avoiding. Your imagination should become a direction, not a destination. Ask yourself, what is one tiny thing the person in my imagination would actually do today? Then do that. And here's where things get powerful. You don't have to completely eliminate imagination. In fact, imagination can be useful. It can help you visualize your goals. It can help you practice conversations. It can help you create. It can help you understand what you want. The problem begins when imagination becomes a replacement for living. When thinking about your life becomes more enjoyable than actually living it. When planning becomes more comfortable than starting. When imagining success becomes more rewarding than working toward it. That's when you need to come back to reality. There's also one simple trick you can try tonight. The next time you catch yourself inside a long, imaginary scenario, don't immediately force yourself to stop. Instead, ask, what am I getting from this fantasy? Maybe the answer is, I want to feel respected. Maybe, I want someone to love me. Maybe, I want to feel successful. Maybe, I want to escape how stressed I feel. Whatever the answer is, write it down, because that answer is giving you information about something your real life may need. And once you know what you need, you can start building it in reality. Think about the difference. Instead of imagining people finally respecting you, start respecting your own boundaries. Instead of imagining being confident, keep one promise to yourself every day. Instead of imagining being successful, finish one meaningful task. Instead of imagining someone saving you, learn how to support yourself. Instead of imagining a completely different life, change one part of your current life. Small actions don't feel as exciting as fantasies, but they have something fantasies don't. They create evidence. Evidence that you're changing. Evidence that you're capable. Evidence that you're moving forward. And slowly, reality starts becoming more satisfying than imagination. So if you spend a lot of time creating fake conversations, imaginary relationships, future success stories, arguments, comebacks, or completely different versions of yourself, don't immediately hate that part of you. Maybe your imagination has been trying to give you something. Maybe it's been giving you confidence when you felt insecure, control when life felt uncertain, connection when you felt lonely, hope when you felt stuck. But you don't have to live there forever. Use the fantasy as a clue. Ask what it's trying to give you. Then go build a small piece of that feeling in real life. Because the goal isn't to stop imagining a better life. The goal is to stop using imagination as a substitute for creating one. So tonight, when you catch yourself lost in another imaginary scenario, pause, take a breath, ask yourself, what am I really looking for right now? Then take one tiny action toward it. Not tomorrow, not someday, today. Because your imaginary life can show you what you want, but only your real life can make it happen. And sometimes the first step toward becoming the person you've imagined for years is simply getting up and doing one real thing.